Good morning to one and all, and welcome to Supply Chain Management online classes. This is Dr. Mahesh M. Onjeri, Assistant Professor from Department of Management Studies, SDM College of Engineering and Technology, Dharwad. Okay, so dear students, we are learning coordination in the supply chain. Okay, let me take a quick recap of what I had discussed in the previous week. Okay, students, I hope you can see the PowerPoint slides.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. So far we have, thank you. So far we have discussed lack of coordination and bullwhip effect. What is bullwhip effect? Then the reasons that bullwhip effect occurs. Then effect of lack of coordination on performance of supply chain. So this in fact makes us understand the importance of achieving coordination in the supply chain. Okay. Then obstacles to achieve coordination in a supply chain we have completed. There were incentive obstacles, information processing obstacles, operational obstacles, pricing obstacles, and behavioral obstacles. So if there are obstacles, okay, so there are managerial levers or strategies or ways in which, okay, the company can overcome the obstacles and still achieve coordination in the supply chain, because it is very crucial that coordination should be achieved in supply chain, okay, for the performance. So each of these managerial lever, okay, targets, okay, a particular type of obstacle. For example, aligning goals and incentives, okay, tries to overcome the obstacle of incentive obstacle. Improving information accuracy tries to overcome the obstacle of information processing obstacle. So this way, all the obstacles are taken care, provided the company's approach is right. So, so far we have discussed the first managerial lever, aligning goals and incentives to overcome the incentive obstacles. So we'll continue from the second managerial lever, improving information accuracy. Okay, so it helps company to overcome the information processing obstacles. So this is simple, not much complicated. Sharing a point of sale data. Okay, so but it is possible in organized retail only. In unorganized retailing, it is not possible. So sharing point of sale data means, okay, in organized retail, okay, you might have visited some supermarkets or hypermarkets, okay, or apparel stores, consumer electronics like Reliance Digital. So where the customers walk into the store, make the payment, okay, and purchase the product, okay, that data is entered into that particular computer on the point of sale. Okay, so that is the actual demand, because the product is already sold to the end user. So that is the accurate data, okay, which should be used by the companies to estimate sales forecasting. So that is point of sale data, actual data, if it is shared and if it is used to develop a sales forecasting, that sales forecasting will have more accuracy. So this way, sharing point of sale data help improve information accuracy or accuracy of sales forecasting. Okay. Then for this purpose, collaborative forecasting and planning is required. Okay, collaborative means, okay, including other stages of supply chain into forecasting and planning. For example, including suppliers and intermediaries. Okay, so again, it is possible in case of organized retail, as organized retailers, okay, have use IT infrastructure, okay, where they can capture the data, okay, capture the demand data, what is actually being sold on a day-to-day basis, hourly basis, region wise, store wise, country wise. Okay, so this data is captured by only organized retailers. So if retailers agree organized retailers agree to share this actual demand data, okay, from the each store. Okay, so we call that a collaborative forecasting and planning. So organized retailers can provide actual demand data, the point of sale data. So where customers walk into an organized retail store and purchase, the moment you purchase, okay, it is recorded into that computer. Okay, so the data is shared to the servers of the organized retailer main computer, and that data is stored in data warehouse. Okay, and that data can be analyzed in different ways. Okay, so that actual demand data can be shared with the manufacturers. Okay, then manufacturer can share the information on incoming data with the supplier of raw materials or with the vendors, so that the vendor also can plan, okay, the delivery schedule for the manufacturer. So this way, where the retailers or wholesalers, manufacturers and suppliers all collaborate or together forecast and plan. Okay, so that also helps improve information accuracy. Bullwhip effect can be minimized. Yes, I hope you understand. But as I mentioned, in case of unorganized retailers, Kirana stores, okay, they don't have any sophisticated IT, okay, infrastructure, okay, and capturing the demand data, hardly it is done, okay, and they don't have any tools to share the data with the manufacturers. Single stage of control for replenishment. It's like a single window, okay, system where all the orders will be delivered, okay, or all the orders will be received only at one window. Okay, so that also can help, okay, improve information accuracy. The information orders go to different, okay, departments or different regions where the orders are processed in different places. Okay, then again it leads to lack of information accuracy. But if there is a single window which receives orders and processes, okay, dispatch invoice can be prepared and dispatch can be made by different regions or different departments. But receiving orders and processing of orders is done by only one window, okay, at one department. Then two practices of assigning single point of responsibility. So when I say single stage control of replenishment is order fulfilling. Okay. So two practices of assigning single point of responsibility when sales occurs through retailers. So that is a continuous replenishment programs and a vendor managed inventories. In both the approaches, okay, there is single stage control of replenishment. All the orders were received, okay, through only one window, and all the orders processed also are through only one window, okay, or one department. Okay, so we'll learn more about continuous replenishment programs and vendor managed inventory more in detail with examples at the end of this chapter. Okay. So for the time being, let us understand only single stage control of replenishment or receiving and processing of orders through a single window or a single department help improve information accuracy. Okay. Then third obstacle are the operational obstacles. Okay, so by way of improving operational performance, okay, it enables the company to overcome operational obstacles. So let us see how a company tries to improve operational performance. By way of reducing replenishment lead time. Okay, replenishment lead time is the time taken to deliver a product since the order is placed. Okay. So if replenishment lead time can be reduced, it reduces uncertainty in demand. Okay. So when the product is not available, okay, so but still there is demand in the market. So one cannot know exactly with certainty what is the actual demand in the market. Okay. But when the product is properly available, okay, because of the reduced lead time, okay, so with certainty the demand can be measured. So reducing replenishment lead time or delivery time reduces uncertainty in demand. And then e-commerce, EDI is electronic data interchange, cross-docking are useful. Okay, so e-commerce enables a buyer to purchase directly from the manufacturer. So the information directly reaches to the manufacturer, the uncertainty is reduced. Okay, so and operational performance improves. Okay, so similarly, this is electronic data interchange is older technology, but now yes, e-commerce has replaced the EDI. Okay, so the same functions, e-commerce functions are performed through EDI earlier. Now e-commerce has taken over. Then cross-docking. Okay, cross-docking also helps reduce replenishment lead time, means delivery time. So those who have learned retailing, okay, you can recall cross-docking is one of the methods by which Walmart, okay, tries to reduce the replenishment lead time. Cross-docking is, okay, a truck, okay, filled with merchandise, okay, enters into the premises of a distribution center of Walmart. Okay, so on arrival of the truck with the merchandise, the truck is not unloaded. Goods are not unloaded and stored into warehouse or distribution center. In fact, goods are taken out or merchandise is taken out from that truck, and other trucks are standing in the distribution center that are ready to leave for to make delivery to Walmart stores in the region. So the truck that has come inside with full goods, okay, or merchandise, those goods are unloaded and loaded onto the trucks that are waiting to leave, okay, to make delivery to the other Walmart centers in the region. So the merchandise spends very little time in the distribution center, and that is not even unloaded and stored into warehouse. They are directly loaded, okay, onto the different trucks that are ready to leave for delivery to Walmart centers or Walmart stores in the region. So that is called cross-docking. So this way Walmart reduces the replenishment lead time, which helps improve the operational performance. Then reducing lot sizes. Okay, that is lot means a quantity, order quantity is called a lot. Okay, so a company can improve operational performance by way of reducing order quantities or lot sizes, reduce fixed costs associated with ordering and transportation. Okay, so when a company places order or receives order, okay, when it arranges for transportation, there are fixed costs. Okay. So by way of reducing the fixed costs, okay, by way of reducing the fixed costs, okay, associated with ordering and transportation, okay, the company can reduce order quantities. Okay, because why buyers order in lots or why buyers order in huge quantities? Okay, to reduce the fixed costs. Larger the order, lower will be the fixed cost per unit, or lower will be the transportation cost per unit. But if the company itself puts efforts to reduce the fixed costs associated with ordering and transportation, the buyer will also order a smaller quantity. Buyer in fact wants to place order for smaller quantity, as smaller as possible. Okay, but due to different reasons like a delay in delivery or in higher replenishment lead time or longer lead times or higher fixed cost associated with ordering and transportation, forces buyers to place large order quantities, and that leads to operational obstacle. Okay, so by way of reducing lot sizes, a company can improve operational performance. For example, using milk runs to reduce lot sizes. Okay, so milk run, okay, is a method of network, okay, or transportation where a full truckload of goods are loaded into a truck, and that truck leaves for one particular area. Let us say industrial area, Belur industrial area in Dharwad, or Gokul industrial area in Hubballi, for example. And okay, it goes through a particular route, okay, So where it has aggregated the orders of different factories. So one truck carrying the goods of many customers, and it goes on to a particular route in the same region, and it goes on delivering the goods as per the order to each of the factories. Okay, so each factory or each buyer is ordering in smaller quantities, but the truck is full because the transporter has aggregated the orders or consolidated the orders of different buyers in the same region. Okay, since the truck is full, it helps reduce the fixed cost associated with transportation. And now, since buyers can order in smaller quantities, okay, so the lot size is also reduced. Okay.
Sir, the screen is becoming green, sir.
Yeah, now it will again be visible. Now it is
Yes.
visible.
Uh,
Yeah. Other students, is it visible now?
No, sir.
No,
Okay.
sir.
I'll make a new share. Okay, no. Because e-scan update. Okay, so can you see now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now it's visible.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was just explaining how a transporter, okay, or a company can reduce lot sizes by using milk runs, and I also explained what is the meaning of milk run. Okay. Okay, then also rationing based on past sales and sharing information to limit gaming. Okay, so if you can recall the operational obstacles. Okay. So operational obstacles. So we learned one concept called the rationing and shortage gaming. If you can recall, I gave the example of that bromelain. Okay, amoxicillin with bromhexane combination of antibiotic. Okay, when I was working. So how retailers used to place a larger, okay, for more number of boxes, and they used to receive lesser number of boxes of the antibiotic. So how that can lead to rationing and shortage gaming. So when the product is in short supply and the demand is more, the wholesaler or the manufacturer resorts to something called as rationing. Means he allocates the orders, he allocates the existing goods or products in proportion to the orders placed by the retailers. For example, when the retailers learn that the order quantity received is smaller than what actually they have ordered, and that too in the proportion of their order quantity, okay, they purposely or intentionally increase their order size to get the actual quantity required. So that is called as shortage gaming, and which creates, okay, fake demand and inflates demand, increases demand, whereas actually there is no increase in demand. Okay, retailers have increased their order only to get actual quantity what they want. So how, okay, that obstacle can be overcome. So rationing can be done based on the past sales and not on the present orders. So for example, last year, same month, okay, how much sales was made by this retailer? Again, this provided, remember, it is not possible in case of unorganized retailing. It is possible only in case of organized retailers. Okay, so where the manufacturer has information about the past sales, it may be previous month or it may be previous year and same month, how much order was placed by the retailer or the buyer. So based on that, okay, the company can allocate the merchandise or allocate the goods to different buyers. Okay, so what happens here? Okay, during the short supply, okay, the retailers or buyers might have increased their order quantities in order to get actually how much they want. So instead of considering those orders, company can consider the past sales of the buyer. It may be wholesaler, it may be retailer, or it may be other company. Okay. So for example, this is a June. Okay, and the company, all the buyers have placed their orders for June, for example, or July, let us say, all the buyers have placed their orders for the month of July. Okay, and the manufacturer knows that maybe he has learned now that the buyers are intentionally increasing the order quantity. So what the manufacturer or vendor will do, he will look into the past sales. So all the buyers, 2020 July, how much goods were sold and how much was ordered by the different buyers. Based on that, okay, the vendor or manufacturer can do the rationing or allocate proportionately based on the actual sales made in the past. Okay, because that is the actual demand. Okay, so that way, and sharing information to limit gaming, and the vendor or manufacturer can share this information about past sales, okay, with the buyers and explain to them, see, based on your past sales, actual how much you sold in this last year, same month. Okay, so you will receive the products this year also for month of July. So this way, by rationing based on past sales and sharing information to limit gaming, okay, a company can improve operational performance. Okay, so turn and earn. Okay, so is a approach used by General Motors and Hewlett Packard. Okay, where the orders are allocated, okay, or the goods are allocated to each order actually based on the actual sales made by the distributors, okay, or intermediaries in the past. Okay, so we call it turn and earn. Okay, so any questions on improving information accuracy and improving operational performance? Any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. The next we'll move for how to overcome the pricing obstacles. So designing pricing strategies to stabilize orders. Okay. Encouraging retailers to order in smaller lots and reduce forward buying. So if you can recall, lot orders in lots means order in a larger quantity, and forward buying leads to bullwhip effect. Okay, which a small increase in demand at the customer level will leads to goes on increasing from retailer to wholesaler, wholesaler to manufacturer, and fake demand is created, okay, due to which the manufacturer, okay, produces more number of units, but whereas once the actual demand is met, all the additional quantities manufactured remain unsold in the supply chain with the retailer, with the wholesaler, and with the manufacturer. So by way of encouraging retailers to order in smaller lots or smaller quantities and reduce forward buying, okay, the company can stabilize orders and try to reduce the impact of a bullwhip effect. Moving from lot size based to volume based quantity discounts. Okay, for example, consider total purchases over a specified time period. Okay, so what Hewlett Packard does is, okay, it doesn't provide the quantity discounts, okay, for each order placed by the intermediaries. In fact, what they do is they consider the total purchases over a specified time period. Maybe it can be a month, half year, or a quarter, for example. Okay, so let us consider a year. So in the previous year, okay, how much orders were placed by each intermediary? Okay, so those who have placed higher orders, okay, in the past, it means they would have sold the merchandise by now. Okay, so or if the company has a point of sale data, how many units are actually sold by the intermediaries? Okay, so a company can give discounts, okay, on the present orders based on the past sales made by the intermediaries or past orders placed by the intermediaries for a given period of time, say for example 1 year. Okay, so what will happen now? The intermediaries, it will discourage from ordering in larger quantities because they won't get any discounts now when they order, but it encourages them to push the sales or focus more on selling the products that are there in the store. Because so in the given period of time, let's say 1 year, whatever they sell, so they are going to earn discounts based on what they sell actually in the previous year. So this way, moving from lot size based to volume based quantity discounts, like considering total purchases over a specified period of time and giving discounts based on that, okay, helps stabilize orders. So, okay, Hewlett Packard is one company which practices this approach to stabilize orders. Okay. Okay. Then stabilizing pricing, eliminate promotions. Okay, eliminate promotions. See, if a company keeps announcing sales promotion offers, okay, frequently in a year, then during the offer period, the demand increases, and during the non-offer period, the demand decreases. So this leads to fluctuation in demand, and which is the reason for bullwhip effect, and which prevents a company from achieving coordination in a supply chain. So rather than announcing frequent promotions, okay, company can go ahead with something called as everyday low pricing strategy. Okay, so Walmart has pioneered this concept of everyday low pricing. At Walmart stores, okay, they don't announce frequent sales promotion offers, but merchandise is sold below MRP all 365 days a year. So customers are ensured, okay, below MRP prices on all 365 days. So demand remains stable at Walmart stores. And one of the major vendor of Walmart is Procter and Gamble. So for Procter and Gamble also the orders remain stable. Okay. Then limit quantity purchased during a promotion. So even if the company has to announce sales promotion offers, the company can limit the quantity of orders, okay, placed by the intermediaries or buyers. Then tie promotion payments to sell through rather than amount purchased. Say if a company wants to give the discounts or promotional payments, okay, to the buyers, okay, so the company should not make these promotion payments based on the orders placed or purchases made by the buyers. In fact, out of 100 units purchased, how many units are actually sold by the buyer, okay, during the promotion period? Let's say, for example, a buyer has purchased 100 units and he has sold 80 units during the promotion period. So the promotion payment should be only for the 80 units that are sold by the buyer during the promotion period. Okay, so this way it help reduce, stabilize the orders. Okay, so I hope you are able to understand. So any questions? Okay, the last lever, okay, building strategic and partnerships and trust in a supply chain. Okay, so maybe I'll explain that, and if you have any questions, you can ask. Okay, so the last obstacle that we studied, okay, was behavioral obstacles, behavior of the suppliers, manufacturers, wholesalers, and retailers. Okay, so how the behavior, employees of the supplier company, employees of manufacturing company, employees at wholesaler, employers of retailers, okay, so how their behavior prevents a company from achieving coordination in a supply chain, okay, and how to overcome that. Okay, so building strategic partnerships, okay, behavioral obstacles can be overcome by building strategic partnerships and a trust in a supply chain. Behavioral obstacles can be overcome by building strategic partnerships and a trust in a supply chain. If you can recall the strategic partnership and trust between Dell and Intel. So that way we are talking. Okay. So managerial levers that help achieve better coordination fall into two categories. Okay, one is action-oriented levers, which we just learned. the 4 previous managerial levers: information sharing, operational improvements, changing of incentives, and just now we studied stabilizing orders. So these are action oriented managerial levers that help achieve coordination in a supply chain. Okay, and there is one more type of managerial lever which is relationship oriented. It is not action oriented, it is relationship oriented. Okay, the objective of this relationship oriented lever is to build cooperation and trust within the supply chain between the stages of supply chain, so that okay, they cooperate and coordinate with each other, which enables the company to achieve coordination in the supply chain. Okay. So before we move ahead and understand, okay, how relationships are built and managed to achieve cooperation and trust in the supply chain. Okay, if you have any questions, you can please ask. Any questions? Okay, so in that case, let me go through the attendance first. Okay, so please keep your audio unmuted, okay, so that you can give the attendance quickly. So 47 students are there. So Nishad, Aditya,
Present, sir.
Aishwarya,
Present, sir.
Akshata,
Present, sir.
Akshay Pujari. Yeah, I saw him joining. Akshay Kulkarni,
Present, sir.
Akshay Koradkeri. Akshay Koradkeri. Yeah, Nishad is marked present. Akshay Koradkeri, absent. Ankita,
Present, sir.
Anusha, Apeksha,
Yes, sir.
Arpita,
Present, sir.
Ashutosh,
Present, sir.
Ashwini,
Yes, sir.
Prasad, absent. Supriya,
Present, sir.
Divya,
Present, sir.
Gautam, Geeta, Geetanjali,
Present, sir.
Gururaj,
Present, sir.
Hanumantrai,
Yes, sir.
Bhimaya,
Present, sir.
Kallaya, not present today. Karthik, absent. Manjur,
Yes, sir.
Manoj, absent. Meghna Kalburgi, Meghna Lokhande,
Present, sir.
Nagaratna,
Present, sir.
Nandan, absent.
Present, sir.
Who is present?
Sir,
Okay.
Anusha present.
I'll mark later. 1 minute. Let me finish this page. Navya,
Yes, sir.
Nidhi,
Yes,
Nikita.
sir.
Yeah, Nidhi is present.
Present, sir.
Yeah, Nikita,
Present, sir.
Pooja,
Yes, sir.
Pradeep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Pramod. Yes, Pramod, present. Ranjali,
Present, sir.
Prashant,
Yes, sir.
Prema. And she was present. Then Priya, Rahul,
Is absent. Present, sir.
Ram,
Present, sir.
Rohit,
Yes, sir.
Varsha,
Present, sir.
Yes, Samuel. No. Sharan.
Present, sir.
Sharayu.
Present, sir.
Shilpa.
Yes, sir.
Shreya. Shreya. Srinidhi.
Yes, sir.
Shruti. Shruti. Shweta.
Yes, sir.
Shweta Kalkeri.
Present, sir.
Snehal.
Present, sir.
Suchitra.
Present, sir.
Sudarshan. Sudha.
Present, sir.
Suman.
Yes, sir. Present, sir.
Maruf. Vaishnavi.
Present, sir.
Vishal.
Present, sir.
Sharadhi.
Present, sir.
Okay, so I'll mark these names. Pramod, Nikita,
Sir,
Anusha.
Kallaya present.
Kallaya also I'll mark. Yes.
22.
Sir, Nishad present, sir.
And Nishad marked present. Akshay. Okay.